Hello everybody, welcome along then to Tier 3 Coda. We are just getting ready in the lobby, but I thought it'd be cool to do a little team principal interview before we get into it. So we've got Kosev with us. You want to say hi?
Hi, sir.
Here he is. Got Kosev with us today. He's going to answer a few questions. We've got about AlphaTauri, obviously the team principal there, AlphaTauri. Going into this round, currently I believe P4 in standings, but not too far away, only 10 points away off third, and only another 9 points away from that, from second. I think Haas are going to be a bit untouchable. I think, even though mathematically I think one or two teams can still catch them. They're 202 points. Closest team to them is McLaren with 108. So it is it's a tall order, but you still aiming for P2?
Yes, of course, but it will be hard with only one driver on the grid.
Yeah, only Mitchell today. Dijkstra not showing up after a brilliant P2.
Actually, it's only Dice.
Oh, is it only Dijkstra? Oh, it's only
Yeah,
Dijkstra, okay.
Mitch,
So Dijkstra off
Mitchell
the
is
back
out.
of a great race in Hungary, P2 there. Narrowly missing out on the win due to the 3 second that he had. But, you know, do you have high hopes? I think Dijkstra has definitely shown the pace, if not last race, then in Tier 2, that he might have the pace to compete at the front of Tier 3.
Yeah, for sure. He's been pretty solid since I signed him and since he raced. Except for last race, but it's unfortunate.
Yeah,
Hopefully today he'll make big difference and compete for the win.
Yeah, a small mistake last race, giving him that 3 second penalty, but if it wasn't for that, he had the on-track win. I believe he gained on the last 2-3 laps of the race. But yeah, unfortunate, but let's see what you can do today. 10 points away from P3, and I believe 19 points away from P2. It is 3 races to go in a sprint race today. It is all to play for there. I wanted to ask a few more questions about your pre-season signings, because out of all the team principals, I believe you're second or third, and the most amount of drivers to be signed before season 9. And you had Leo Lund signed for a brief period of time, but he's decided to back out of that deal now and said he won't be participating next season in Amethyst. How does that affect your driver lineup going into next season?
Won't of course it will affect a lot in my tier 1 lineup because he's fast and I don't know if I can replace him, but the story behind the preseason contract is that Mevun at the time was vice team principal in my team.
Yeah.
And he said I would take Wound with me in Merc, and I immediately signed a preseason contract with him to defend him. So, yeah, but later on he said that he can't do races next season.
Right, and you've also signed Brandon Lodeman, the Aston Martin reserve, for next season. That was recently announced. What plans do you have going forward with him? Obviously a tier 2 driver going into season 9.
I think he'll be a perfect replacement for Kizio. I think, yeah, he'll be a bit better than Kizio. Hopefully he don't hear that. But yeah.
Well, it was a pleasure talking to you. Thank you for coming up here, pal. We will get the lobby underway now, and I wish your team all the luck, even though it's just one of you today. Dijkstra definitely showed the pace last race to take the win. So let's see if you can do it today. And deny Ice Cream, I believe, another win. It would have been his second one in a row after winning in Hungary, but also Haas's hat-trick of wins at the moment that they are aiming for. Thank you for coming up here, pal, and I'll see you around.
Yes, yeah.
Alright then, we are just waiting on the last few people now to get in the lobby. I believe Ice Cream had some problems getting in, so we are just waiting for him to join, and then we will get underway. But I've got some very cool additions to this stream. I hope that you will appreciate them. It took me a while to set up, but not only is the overlay working perfectly now, it's very smooth. It's very good at keeping the deltas accurate. But also, I've got a few more additions. I think you guys will appreciate them being on screen. Ice Cream, I believe, can win the Drivers' Championship today. If he can get in the lobby, that is. But if he does, I believe he's got to... Rolf's got to outscore him by 23 points this weekend for him to take the Drivers' Championship. So Rolf has to put in an absolute shift to beat a man that's been very consistent in not only the last 3 rounds, but all season, to give himself the advantage that he has, which is currently 136 points to Rolf's 62. I believe a 74-point deficit there. So even though it's 74 points at the minute with 3 rounds to go, that sprint race is what is keeping Rolf in contention just about. Let's see if Ice Cream can clinch it today. Let's see if he can get in the lobby first of all. It'd be a very big shame if he can't get into the lobby, as he can literally take the championship today, and it would have been not only 3 wins in a row for Haas if they win today, but it's 2 championships in a row here in Tier 3 for them. What do we reckon, chat? Who's going to take the win here today? Put your predictions in. Dijkstra says him. Well, Dijkstra, you won it last time on track, so as long as you don't make any mistakes with the penalties, you're in for a shot. Hopefully Ice Cream can get in. Hello. With Ice Cream. Oh, you can't get in. You were in a minute ago, weren't you? Should I try to invite you? Try restart Steam. If it Okay. Okay. He said he joined, but I don't see his name anywhere. Okay, if you just joined, we are waiting for Ice Cream and Ducket to get in the lobby. I think they're having some kind of Steam problem. But once that is done, we'll be getting underway for the sprint and qualifying sprint, and then the Grand Prix, where Ice Cream can win the Drivers' Championship today. I'd like to point out as well that Van Loon and Anderson, P2 and P3 in the championship, both 74 points behind Ice Cream, so they'll be fighting for P2, as well as Sharma, only 75 points behind Ice Cream in P4. There's a battle for P5 going on as well with Aurelius, Wilson Smith, and Livingston, Vasilev and Nilsson. They are all within, I believe, 6 points of one another, so it's going to be close there. Come on. That's why I hate anything to do with this game. I believe Ice Cream can't get it working, which is very unfortunate for him, because like I said, he can win the championship. Hello, Rory. Yeah, I think we're gonna go. Let's go. He's either gonna have to do a last to first, or he's gonna have to drive his heart out for the last 2 races of the season. Either way, it's gonna be entertaining to watch. They don't believe me, but God did. Okay. So we should be having 15 drivers for the race. We've only got 13 now for qualifying. We should be having 15 for the race once Ice Cream and Duck hopefully sort out their problems. But here we go. As we wait for the game to catch up, everyone to load in. We are going to be here for 18 minutes of what looks like overcast qualifying here for Tier 3. Might see if there's any rain on its way once everyone loads into the session. Here we go. Great. Why? I've tested this all day. Literally all day. Hold up. Rain for the race. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay, ignore the fact that there's some real drivers' names in the session. Obviously, Sergio Perez is not in this session. But they will all fall down to the bottom once we get some times set. And they won't be there for the race. So, we are going to have Dijkstra, as we were just talking to Dijkstra's team principal, Mr. Kalen Kosev. Just before the race, he had high hopes for his team to clinch P2 in the the Constructors' Championship by the end of the season. Let's have a quick look. So here we go. Here's the first feature I've been working on. Yeah, there we go. We've got the Constructors' Championship up on the left-hand side of the screen there. You've got Haas leading the way, 202 points. McLaren quite far back, it has to be said, on 108. Alpine 99 and AlphaTauri 89. With Mercedes not too far behind as well. It's quite close, all the way from P2 to P6 really, with 29 points separating those guys. And then further back, I mean, Aston Martin aren't a million miles off either, but Alfa Romeo and Red Bull in a little bit of a fight there with Ferrari. Not having the season to remember, down in P10 with 27 points. Drivers' Championship though, Ice Cream leading the way, like I say, from with 74 points advantage over Rolf van Loon, who took a bit of time away during the mid stages of this season. Anderson as well, joining halfway through the season, I believe. I think he might have done 2 or 3 races by now. Actually, probably a few more than that, but 62 points to his name. 1 point over Ter Sharma in P4, and then quite a big gap down to Aurelius Wilson-Smith, Livingston, Vasilev, and Nilsson, who are also fighting for that P5 position. But although it was Dijkstra leading the way up until this point, It is now a Ferrari of, I believe, who is that? It's Kingma. Kingma on his return. After taking some time away in the mid stages of this season, he's back out on track in the Scarlet Red Ferrari. With that Monza livery still on. But here he goes through Sector 1, through Turn 7, into Turn 8 now, on the power ever so gently. Now used quite a bit of battery around here, probably due to this massive straight that's coming up now. It's very critical to your lap if you don't get that corner right there. But he's done it pretty nicely, back on the power as soon as he can, up through the gears. As we fly into the DRS zone now. Let's see what he hits here. I think it's about 100 and probably actually 200 miles an hour before you slam on the brakes again. But it is quite a high downforce track this. Usually running near 40s on the front and rear wings. Maybe low 30s if you want to push it on the rears. But it's purple sector 1, purple sector 2 right now for Stefan Kingma, and there's a few cars gone through sector 1, but he's retained that purple sector 1 so far as he comes through the very committed triple right-hander and down the hill into the final two corners now. Swings it in left, back on the power so gently. You don't want to overstep that white line there at the end of your lap and invalidate it all, but he's handled it nicely. Back on the power now, up to the line. It's a 33-2 from Stefan Kingma to kick everyone off the mark. Next up is going to be Dijkstra. Where is he? Oh, he's invalidated. It's not Dijkstra. It's going to be Anderson. Anderson goes P2, 32-2 again. It's 3 thousandths between the two that have set a time so far. Who have we got up next? I think it is not Rory Bates, that's Van Loon. Not Ricardo. Who is this that hasn't put the right number on? I think this might be... Oh! There's Rolf having a bit of a moment. A 34-1 there. I don't know who that is. I'll try and work it out if anyone could tell me. But this is it's a fine for Mercedes, I believe. Yeah, Mercedes. As it is, you can get fined for not having the right number on. I made it pretty clear that if you didn't have a number, you need to put one on. And I believe it's going to be Roy Bates going to P7, reserving today, as Aurelius goes up to P6, the 34-1. So it's close at the top, but not so much further down the field at the minute. There's Sebastian Zerveld. Oh, Ice Cream's in the session. He managed to get in time. No sign of David Duckett that yo. Yet, though, is what I meant to say. Into the final corner for Sebastian Zerveld. A bit of a correction there, mid-apex. Back on the power, though, up to the line. Goes P5, 8 tenths away from Stefan Kingma. Anyone on a lap right now? I believe Blundy is about to cross the line on his first lap. Yes, he is. Goes P10, a 34-3 there for him. As Unfi goes P8. Sorry, I missed that. A second away from Stefan Kingma's benchmark. And... Alright, no worries, Byland. Okay, who have we got coming up next? I believe Rolf van Loon should be one of the next drivers to cross the line. After his little bit of a spin though, at the final corner we saw. I wonder how much that's cost him. And you'll say it's cost him a second. Oh, it's cost him a lot of time. F42. 42-1 for Rolf van Loon. Is he going to go on? I think this is going to go on for another lap. He's got quite a bit of battery saved up there. He has got time for 2, that is true. So he can hope his championship hopes hang on for today as Rolf van Loon completely cuts the corner and invalidates. This guy raced in Tier 2 the other day, can I just point that out? And bottled there as well. I'm joking, Rolf, I love you really. Don't get pressed. We are, though, apparently expecting rain for the race. At the moment, qualifying is going to be getting clearer as we go on. Legovic is in the session now. I think he was in the session at the start. I think he must have had a bit of a connection issue. Oh, Duck got in. Nice. Yeah, but qualifying is going to be getting drier as we go on. Anyone on a lap right now? I don't think so. We've got Ice Cream and Dykstra on outlaps. Yeah, so I believe it's going to be Dykstra next up to set a flying lap here, as he's just started his first, at least valid lap of the session. He invalidated his first run. So that's right on board with the AlphaTauri driver. As we said, talked to his team principal just before the race started, hoping to get a race win, Dykstra here in Tier 3 after narrowly missing out just last round in Hungary. He's currently a tenth down on Stefan Kingma through the first sector. Let's see what he can do in the second and third. The very technical third sector here at Kota. A lot of time can be found in just that sector. Let's see them back on the power ever so gently, and the exit all the way down this very long and sort of bendy straight into the very heavy braking zone at the end here. Going to be slamming on the brakes here just before the 100-meter board. Tucks it in, down to third gear, back on the power, and now into a very twisty section of this track. Very tentative on the power as you come over that curb there. It can spin the back end of your car around. It's purple sector 2, by the way, for Dykstra here. On the power once again in third gear. Runs up to the triple right-hander. He keeps it nice and tight there. Onto the marbles though a little bit once you go off that line, but gets the car turned in just about. Doesn't invalidate there. Into the final corner now. Keeps it tight to the apex. Back on the power using all the track. Up to line. Dykstra goes P4. 33.6 there. A very good lap. Not a strong sector 3 for him. He has done better on his invalidated lap, I believe. But 4 tenths away now from Stefan Kingma. As next up will be Ice Cream, the championship leader, coming through the final, the first sector now. Let's see what he can do. Number 66 in the Haas. Close to the line, the exit of the second to last corner. Yeah, he was literally on the limit. I don't think he could get any further over the track there. He's getting a nice tow from the Mercedes here just ahead of him. Who is that? Is that the mystical... No, that was Unfi. Unfi giving Ice Cream a bit of a tow there. Down the back straight. But Ice Cream seems to be getting a nice little banker lap in here. He's green in Sector 1, green in Sector 2. Not sure it's going to put him top of the timings. But at the moment, he just needs to score every point he can. He's just got to finish in the points basically this race to clinch the championship. I'm sure he'll be looking for more than that. 23 points. Rolf van Loon or Anderson has to outscore him by for him to not stay in the championship fight. And it's 33-3 for Ice Cream. Slots in just behind his teammate, about a tenth away from Stefan Kingma's benchmark time. As next up is going to be the Williams of Aurelius, but he's invalidated actually, so it's not going to be him. I think it's going to be one of the Alpines here. Is it Nilsson? Is Nilsson on a lap? No, I think Nilsson's on a outlap. So, Ferrari. Is it Kingma? It could be Stefan Kingma, but he's backed out of it. He mustn't have been happy with the time he was doing. He's not improving in Sector 1 or 2. That's going to be the other Haas of Anderson. Is he on a lap? He is on a lap, and he takes provisional pole. The 32.5. That is a big difference to his first time. 6 tenths improvement there for Anderson, and that has laid down the benchmark for the rest of the field. We've got quite a big field spread out there at the minute. About a second and a half now down to P10. So everyone looking to improve, but it's a very tricky track to get absolutely hooked up around here at the Circuit of the Americas. It's a very technical track. All the curbs are very deadly. Zlengovic goes up to P7. I believe that is Blundy. I just about missed him. He goes up to P7 now, pushing Legovic down a position. As an Aston Martin, sorry, that was Ricardo. I don't know who that is though. It goes P10 as Zervel improves to P6. So that means it's going to be Unfi now coming up to the line. He goes P8, displaces Legovic down to, his teammate down into the bottom. What is that? Bottom 5 now or bottom 4? Bottom 5. Ducks now in the lobby, and Is that Van Loon coming through the final corner? No, it's not. It's one of the Alpines instead. Ahead of him is Nilsson, who both Alpines are very consistent out there at the minute. I think they are literally separated by 2 points, and they've both driven, from what I can remember, most of the races this season. But it's not an improvement for Nilsson there. But Van Loon goes up to P4 with a 33.4. As who is that now? It's going to be Vasilev coming across the line. No, he's not. He's going into the pit lane. So that is Vasilev's second lap over and done with. Is it going to be David Duckett? Oh, David Duckett has invalidated his first lap, though, I believe. Is he pushing on for another? I think he is going to push on for another, so we will keep an eye out. Oh, sorry, that was his out lap. Never mind. We might have to withdraw from the race. You had a black screen. Oh, no. Why is my game going weird? What the hell? It's probably overheating. It's like 100,000 degrees right now. Is that an AlphaTauri going across the line? Oh my god, what is my game doing? Is it overheating? I respect that from Kingma, I respect that. I think my computer might be overheating. What does one do in this situation? Hold up. Hold up, chat. I'm gonna have to... I'm going to angle my fan into my computer. That seems like a good idea. It will mean that I overheat instead of my computer, but I'm willing to take that risk. Ow. That helps at all. I doubt it will. Why does Twitch not work with the VPN? I do not know. Why? I apologise for this chat. I don't know why it's... Okay, let's get to the end of qualifying. I'll try and figure it out. But for right now, is Dykstra on a lap? I don't think he is. So let's try and work out who's at the front of this train now. I believe everyone is currently on out laps. Ice Cream is on a lap. So let's watch the current the current championship leader on his final lap here in qualifying. He joined late. He's currently sat P3, 7 tenths away from his teammate, who looks to outscore him here this weekend to try and stay within that championship mathematically. But Ice Cream is pushing hard through the first sector. He's only a tenth down on his teammate. Let's see what he can do here as he runs down now into turn 11. The hard braking zone, 90-degree hairpin. Now back on the power all the way down the straight. The DRS will open now, and you'll have a little bit of speed gain down the rest of this straight, all the way now into the braking zone of turn 12. Heavy on the brakes here just before the 100-meter board, swings it in, clips the inside apex, back on the power using the curve there on the outside as a little bit of support into the twisty section now of sector 3. Tentatively on the power there, back into another long left-hander on the power now. And into the triple right-hander. Ice Cream will look to keep it as tight as he can here to find as much time in this lap as he can. Can he topple his teammates? Aurelius goes P2, 4 tenths away from Anderson. I think that was an improvement there from Van Loon as well, stays P5. And the final corner now for Ice Cream on the power for the final time in this lap. What can he do? He improves, but it's not enough for pole. It's P3 right now. It's the second road, the grid, a 33.1 for Ice Cream. Who is up next? I believe it's going to be Unfi, who's navigating his way through Sector 3 now. I don't know why it's so laggy. You'll have to hope that it fixes itself. But here he goes. Into the final corner now, the Mercedes driver. It doesn't look like he's improving on this lap. Can he find anything in Sector 3 to put himself further up the order? No, he can't. It is going to be P10 at best for him. Blundy improves to P11 though, in the Red Bull. Dijkstra's up next. Oh, he's got a bit crossed up there at the penultimate corner and pulls off into the pit lane. We just about caught the end of that. As here comes Sebastian Zoll, but he's invalidated. It's not been the lap he would have wanted. Anderson, is he improving here as he comes into the final 2 corners? He's run wide and invalidated. He was purple sector 1 and purple sector 2, but he's thrown it all the way at the final 2 corners, and he's not gonna. He's improved by half a tenth there, but it won't be valid, so you won't get that time gain on the leaderboard. As the 2 Alpines now come across the line, Vasilev goes up to P6. Nilsson stays P7. It is an improvement, but it's not enough to topple his teammate. As now Roy Bates comes up to the line. What can he do? Goes P9 with a 33.5 as Rolf Van Loon displaces his championship rival and puts him down into P4 as he goes to P3. And there's a Mercedes coming across the line. That is the, I don't know who it is, but it's the Mercedes of Ricardo coming up to the line now. A bit of a drift through the final corner, up to the line. P14 for him at best. And I believe that might be everyone. I think it is everyone. Alright, I've got to figure out what's going on there because I don't understand why my game's running like crap. I can't have that all race, it's going to do my head in. Hopefully that will fix it. I don't know. If it doesn't, actually I'm going to try this. Bear with me. Oh shit, I need to get... Okay. Sorry, chat. I'm trying to figure out why it's dead. Okay, hopefully that will fix something. Maybe a game or a quick loading screen as well won't do any harm. Okay. Here we go then. Oh, it's still a bit laggy. I don't know what I'm going to do here. Sorry to hear that, Legovic. Okay, this looks like it's still going to be very laggy, but I'll try my best. I'm sorry about the frame rate situation. But here we go then. 5 red lights coming on here in the Circuit of Americas. And it's lights out and we are underway as Ice Cream looks to get a better start than Van Loon as the Anderson in the lead. Gets a great start and is already leading into turn 1 by a good margin. As Ice Cream up the inside. He's up into P2 at the moment. Van Loon goes wide. There's a Ferrari there getting in the mix as well. Round the outside of Aurelius goes of Rolf van Loon, trying to fight for that final podium position as the two Hasses lead the way at their home Grand Prix. Van Loon holds on for P4 at the minute over the Ferrari, but Aurelius holds on for P3 as there's there's a yellow flag at the back. What has gone on there? I want to see. I think it was the Alfa Romeo of Ducati maybe having a spin and holding a few people up. But he's maintained position for right now as Rory Bates looks to get past. I need the names. Why is there no names? Actually, if I do that. There we go. Peter and Dijkstra as they run down now into turn 12. The two Alpines defending off the Aston Martin of Sebastian Zerveld into turn 12 as the Alfa Romeo there at the back holding on over whoever that Mercedes is. Into sector 3 we go for the first time in this sprint race. It seems like a lot of the top 10 all on mediums. I think that's Dijkstra there on the soft compound tyres a little bit further back. But for right now, the two Hasses sitting comfy up at the top, which will give them the 1-2 starting position for the race, which I'm sure they will be more than happy with. I don't know how hard Ice Cream is going to fight his teammate here, because his teammate can technically still win the championship if he outscores Ice Cream by 23 points this weekend. Now, I'm sure that doesn't sound like a lot. I'm sure Ice Cream's pretty comfortable with that. But will he want to get every point he can? Will he want to get every win he can in what could be his championship season here in Season 8? Let's see, as Aurelius still all over the back of him there. Aurelius showing some great pace here today. Rolf van Loon and the Ferrari there fighting away for P4. I'd really like it to give me the names now. I thought it would. Why is it not giving me the names? Hopefully it will fix itself. Maybe if I do that. No, that didn't do anything. Never mind. As there's a Mercedes there boxed at the back. I think that's the Ricciardo one. Actually, let me just do this real quick. Who is that? Oh, it's Wilson Smith. Okay. Wilson Smith not having the best start to the sprint race, but he's got a full Grand Prix to recover later on. Two Hasses though still leading the way. Rolf van Loon holding on for P4 at the minute. The two Alpines sitting comfy in P6 and P7. Very consistent as always. Holding themselves currently P3 in the Constructors' Championship. With only... Oh, Rolf van Loon getting a big snap there. I believe only 9 points away from McLaren. Let's look a little bit further back here. Everyone's filtering out pretty nicely. And a bit of a DRS train forming here. As, that is Dijkstra on the soft, so he will be looking to make a little bit of an impact on those soft compound tyres. He's going to make it early on, as they won't hold on completely to the end. I believe around about lap 7 we'll see some effects of tyre wear on those soft compound tyres, as Dijkstra did have a quick sneak up the inside there of the second Alpine for P7, but it didn't quite work out for him. Why is there no overlay? I can't... Oh, I didn't mean to tab out. Or did I? I've not tabbed out. What? Oh, why is my mouse on the screen? Good. Hopefully that didn't affect anyone. I think it might have done. I'm sorry. As Zerveld now looking around the outside of Dijkstra into turn 11. He's going for a switchback here. Oh, he gets a big snap though on the exit. I think that has cost him massively down the straight. Is that going to invite Rory Bates here to have a go at both of them into turn 12? Right on board now with the McLaren driver. DRS enabled for all three drivers into the heavy braking zone now of turn 12. Zerveld up the inside of Dijkstra. They're pushing each other to the limits of the track. Dijkstra gets a snap. Rory Bates eyeing this all up at the back. Will he find a move here up the inside into what is turn 14? I don't think he's going to manage it. And Dijkstra is all over the place. Can't find a way around the outside. Can Rory Bates? He's gone a bit wide there, caught up on the outside curb. And who's that? That is Unfeet, tucked up behind the McLaren of Rory Bates at the minute, looking to get the move done maybe into turn 1. But these 3, or even 4, are so close together on track as Ducati receives a 3-second time penalty for track extending at some point in the last lap. And into turn 1 we go now. I don't know where the leaderboard is. The leaderboard should have come down on lap 1. But I can't tab out the game because it will make everyone lag. the beauty of not hosting the lobby is not upon me. But anyway, as we go through now, Sector 1, I can do that for the sprint, but I don't... Maybe down the straight. Maybe down the straight. Let's try that. Hopefully that will work. Now as Dijkstra eyes up the move down the inside of Zerveld into turn 12. I think he's got that move done. Yes, he has. Nicely done. Up into P8 for him now. Into Sector 3 we go. The soft tyres will start to fade away here. Yeah, I don't know why it's not coming up. That's really pissing me off. I spent all day trying to do that. Anyway, the two Hasses leading the way still from Aurelius in P3. 4 tenths behind Ice Cream at the minute as Anderson pulling a bit of a gap now to his teammate. Considering he has the DRS, Anderson looks like the faster driver this weekend after grabbing yet another pole. Where's Dijkstra gone? Oh, Dijkstra's just pulled off to the left because here comes Sebastian Zerveld down the straight into turn 1. Is he going to make the move stick? Yes, he is, round the outside of the AlphaTauri driver. Rory Bates looking to copy him. Doesn't quite find the drive there out of turn 1. He picks up a penalty actually in P10 for going off the track there. And through Sector 1 we go now. Dijkstra, the soft tyres maybe not working how we would imagined, but Zerveld putting up a great fight here for the final points paying position in this sprint race. Oh, so close to contact there as he gets caught up on the outside curb. Is that going to invite Rory Bates past? Yes, it has. Down the straight, Rory Bates getting a better exit and pulling ahead of the AlphaTauri driver. Will Unfi look for the same move just like they did a few laps ago? Down into turn 12, can't quite find the speed he needs to get past the AlphaTauri. As Rory Bates gets another snap there. He's really struggling with the handling on that McLaren. As drifting through there as well. It is very, very tentative with the back end of that McLaren. Sebastian Zerveld pulls away a little bit here. 5 tenths now the gap between these two. For the final points paying position, that penalty Rory's picked up there is going to be devastating to the points he scores this race. Where the chuff is the leaderboard, man? Oh, is it Kingma and Van Loon fighting out ex-teammates turned rivals into turn 1. Kingma gets the move done on Rolf Van Loon and up into P4 for him. As we come into Sector 1, the twisting fast S's section, it is the Ferrari driver ahead of the McLaren up into P4 for Stefan Kingma, and the two Alpines looking hungry in the back as well. I believe all 4 of these guys very good friends, all on the same team at one point, if I'm not mistaken as well. But they're all fighting for position right now as there's a yellow flag further back. I think that was for Wilson's... No, it wasn't. It was Unfi, I believe, having a minute. Or was it Duckett? I think it was Duckett, actually. Spinning at the exit of the S section. But these 4 now all very close together. All going to have DRS apart from Kingma, who's leading this train. Here comes Van Loon back past the Ferrari. There goes Vasilev up the inside of both of them. Into turn 12. Vasilev in the Alpine. Looking to make the move on 2 drivers in 1. But it's been collected with Nilsson and Kingma both spun round at the exit of turn 12. Both onto the grass. Both losing positions and ruining their chances of getting any points this race. Nilsson down to P10. Kingma down into P12. And he has left the session. I'm not too sure he would have been happy about that. I don't think that was in the plan for Stefan Kingma today, and Nilsson will be looking to recover what he can from this race as he's still within a top 10 position as Dijkstra's tyres will be starting to drop away here. And as we head now on to lap 7, Nilsson eyeing up the back of the AlphaTauri down the DRS straight. He pulls out to the right hand side. Dijkstra out of DRS on the inside line. Can Nilsson find his way round the outside? Not quite. What about the exit now through turn 2? Into turn 3, up the hill we go. He can't quite find the speed he needs there to get past the AlphaTauri, and he'll settle back into P10. As there's another spin there for David Duckett, but we'll ignore it. It didn't happen. As who's that moving down? Is it just Duckett? I think it was just Duckett. Okay. And Zerveld has. Was he in the, no, he wasn't in the fight, was he? Oh, never mind, I'm being dumb. It's Nelson. But these two, Vaclav and Van Loon, still fighting it out hard for P4 in this race. Van Loon, though, out of ERS at this point. Ice Cream's made a move for the lead of the race. Down the inside of his teammate into turn 12. These two side by side through sector 3. Can Anderson find the way back up the inside? Not quite into turn 14 and 15 now. Oh, he's trying to think up the inside there. These two are going gloves off here in Kota. And it's going to invite Aurelius now back into the fight for this lead of the sprint race. Ice Cream leads the sprint race here on lap 7, heading on to lap 8 over his teammate and Aurelius in the Williams. He's looking to make this championship the most dominant one yet, with 163 points to his name, 74 advantage to his teammate and Van Loon at this stage. Into turn 1 we go. Ice Cream holds on in the lead. No attack there from his teammate. I'm sure his teammate is checking his mirrors now more than he's looking ahead, with Aurelius maybe going to come and spoil this Haas 1-2 in America, as Wilson Smith makes the move round the outside now of Peter Jan Dijkstra. Into the S's section we go. That was a beautiful move right round the outside of the AlphaTauri and up into the points. I scored 2 points there for the Mercedes team. He's coming out of nowhere as Unfi has fallen down the order down into P14. Now, who have we got up ahead? Aurelius picks up a time penalty there. I just about caught that before it disappeared, and that is definitely going to leave Vaclav and Van Loon licking their lips there further back, hoping to catch up within the 3-second window. But here comes Anderson now. Going to come and overtake his teammate on the lap after his teammate overtook him into the same corner. The Haas is so close to making contact. Aurelius looking up the inside of both of them there. Can't quite find the space. Anderson retakes the lead. Aurelius looking for P2 in this race now. Pulls ahead of Adam Ice Cream. Ice Cream's lost 2 positions there in like 2 corners. Aurelius on a charge in this race. That 3-second time penalty though is going to really cost him, as Ice Cream struggles for traction there out of turn 15, and he's lost about 7/10 to Aurelius and Anderson, as Anderson pulls 6/10 ahead of Aurelius now. Anderson was not having his teammate win this race. He wants to win over Ice Cream. Like I said, still mathematically in the championship fight, but it's going to take a hell of a lot to cancel Ice Cream. This surely a championship win here for him. But you know, it's Formula 1. Anything can happen here. As further back, I believe that is Nilsson looking for a move round the outside at turn 1. Can't quite find a space. Goes for the switchback instead. Back on the power now as Dijkstra loses the back end. Nearly takes Nilsson out, but Nilsson moves himself back up into the points. As further back, there is a yellow flag for what I believe to be a Ferrari of Kingma, who has just rejoined the session. So I don't know if he's taken control of his car and caused the yellow flag. But Unfi gets past him up into P13 there, as Duckett and Blundy is fighting it out for P11 now. These lot all have time penalties to their name on the penultimate lap of the race. A lot of understeer there for Blundy. I think he might have some damage on that Red Bull. He does. Look, front right end plate on the Red Bull is no longer there. Unfortunate for Blundy, as Van Loon and Vaclav are fighting it out once again. These two joint at the hip, both without penalties. However, have both fallen now out of the window of Aurelius' 3-second time penalty, so they will not be getting any more than P4 in this race as it stands. As Van Loon settles back behind now into P5 again. I believe Nilsson is going to be looking to make a move here on Wilson Smith, although they have both caught up now to Sebastian Zerveld, who is kind of in no man's land there in P6, scoring good points. But will they last, as these two will be hungry on the final lap of this sprint race to get some more points to their name. Wilson Smith will look to close up here, 8 tenths back, looking to close up to around about 7 tenths before turn 1. Just about does, but it's going to be the back straight way. He's going to have the best chance now to make a move up into P6. But he's got to watch his mirrors as well. Nilsson is looking hungry further back as we come now into the S's section for the final time in this sprint. The two Haas's still first and third, and still will finish 1-2 on track, but Aurelius I'm sure will be looking for the on-track win, maybe thinking he can get a penalty removed, or I don't know, maybe just wants to win the something on track. Showing he has pace though for the main Grand Prix coming up after this. Opens that rear wing of the Williams. Can he close up enough here down into turn 12? I don't think he can. He's not got the ERS for it. Ice Cream has fallen out of that second window though, to the Williams driver. As Van Loon and Vasilev swap positions once again. It's going to be Van Loon round the outside of the Alpine here into turn 12. Can he find the power on the exit to get ahead as we head into sector 3, turn 13 now? Rolf Van Loon makes the move up the inside. A beautiful view he got of that as well. Can he hold it? He needs to defend now tight to the inside line on the left. Holds that position beautifully. I think Wilson Smith there having a bit of an issue further back. He's fallen down to P9 now and out of the points as he was fighting for P6 just a lap ago. Vasilev all over the rear wing of the McLaren. But here comes Anderson through the final corner to win the sprint in Kota. Ice Cream gets P3. Ice Cream gets P2. Aurelius gets P3 in the end. And across the line, Van Loon takes home P4 just ahead of Vasilev. Verveld holds on to a very lonely P6. Defends it off nicely to Dijkstra, and Nilsson only gets P8. I think there must have been contact there on the final lap between Nilsson and Wilson Smith. Rory Bates is going to get P10 here due to the penalties behind him and a 6-second gap to David Duckett, and he's spun across the line. Oh no. I won't ask. I just won't ask. As here comes the rest across the line. Duckett gets P11, P12 for Unfee, P13. I think that was Sub Blundy there with the wing damage he already had. And that is going to be the end of the sprint race here. That sets up our grid though for the Grand Prix just coming up. Hopefully, one more quick loading screen will fix the frame issues that I'm having right now, and hopefully fix the leaderboard, because I'm going to be very upset if that don't work. But there you go, there is your sprint race results. I'll have to make sure to get these, because otherwise I get shouted at. In fact, I can just do that, can't I? Because the top guy will know who wins, and we don't need to get their time. Genius. Alright, hopefully this will fix it now. I really hope, because it's doing my head in. I need a drink. It's so warm. How hot is it right now? It's 25 degrees. It's 25 degrees at 10 to 8 at night. What the hell? How hot is it in my room? That's a good question. It is 34 degrees in my room. Good. 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 Alright, I don't know why I'm having these frame issues. Wait, Mick Williams, do you live in Bangor? No way. I go to Bangor like nearly every year, mate. I don't actually mean that as a joke. I generally do. God damn it. Oh, is there a Bangor in Ireland? Is it just an irrelevant Bangor? Oh, I hate these frame issues I'm having. Anyway, here we go. 5 red lights in Kota. And it's lights out and away we go. The two Hasses are going to lead the way in these intermediate conditions. As... what? Slicks? Slick tyres? Slick tyres? Why is everyone on slick tyres? Surely that's a visual thing. Okay, no, it's definitely not a visual thing. People are on slicks. Why is everyone on slicks? What is going on? Did it say it was dry in the thing and then you came into the race and it's raining? What happened? I don't understand. What? Did it say it was raining in the thing or not? Oh my god, this lap 1 is going to be crazy. We're having a bit of a Zandvoort repeat here, as I don't know why the overlay's not coming up. It's really doing my head in. But Unfi's up into P4 in this race. Is Dijkstra up into P6 as well. Roy Bates has had not a great start, losing 5 positions. I think he had a bit of a spin earlier on in the lap. Is Dijkstra up the inside of Rolf van Loon on the medium compound tyres in these tricky conditions. No one's coming into the pits. Huh? What is going on? Oh, there we go. The overlay's working at least. Well, Zerveld's into the pits. What is Zerveld onto? He's going on to intermediates. Is it raining for some people and not raining for others? Is that what's going on right now? I have a feeling that's what's happening. Because it's raining for all. Why? It forced them onto slicks. Okay. It's raining for the Haas boys. Okay. What in the world? Okay. Anyway, Aurelius looking for a move maybe for P2 in this race. He's on the medium compound tyres and keeping his own here with the soft run of ice cream in these tricky conditions. As yeah, maybe it's just on the crossover between slicks and intermediates there. As Zervan and Bates have swapped onto the wet compounded tyres, so we'll see what kind of sector times they can do in this race. It's not wet enough for inters. Yeah, maybe that is the case. It does seem like it might be not too far away though. As should we have a quick look at Zerveld's sector times here, as he's coming through and into sector 3 now, so we should have a sector time come up. There we go. He has gone green in sector 2, but is that because he didn't have a great sector 2 on the first lap? It could be. As is that Vasilev coming into the pits? No, it's not. It's Rolf van Loon into the pits now. He is coming in for the intermediates. He has his teammate Roy Bates on the intermediates as a bit of a sign to what he needs to do here. Onto the definitely the intermediate tyre there for the McLaren. Also Wilson Smith into the pits now as well. He will be going on to the intermediates at this stage in the race. Have the Haas got it right? Have the Haas got it wrong? Can Ice Cream do enough here to maybe undercut his teammate and put himself back in the lead of this race? Either way, Haas looking for the hat-trick of wins here in Kota. As there is your championship leader coming over the crest and down the hill into the braking zone of turn 11. And it is still comfortably ahead of Aurelius at this point. Zerveld has come out right behind Rolf van Loon and had a lap extra to get used to these intermediate tyres and get them up to the temperature that needs to be working at. But is he going to manage to make anything work here? Is the DRS still enabled? That is a good question. As we run down into the main DRS straight on this track, I imagine it still is. It doesn't look wet enough quite for intermediate tyres. As there's a penalty there for David Ducker, as he must have overstepped the lines at some point in this lap. As yes, there is DRS still enabled, but look at the gap that Rolf just pulled out of that zone. He's pulled nearly a second on Zerveld. As here we go then, running down into turn 12. Zerveld is improving on the sector 1 time. And he is improving on his sector 2 time as well. Let's see if Rolf is, because Rolf's done 2 laps on the slicks. Is he going faster? Oh, sorry, he won't be going faster than those times, but he has gone purple sector 2 on the intermediate, so maybe the inters are the tyres to be on. I don't know. Nobody knows what to do here, but Anderson has bitten the bullet and gone into the pits for the intermediate tyres now. So he is coming for the intermediate tyres. His teammate has stayed out, or Aurelius has stayed out. In fact, the top 9 have stayed out, as Nilsson, I imagine that's Nilsson going to the pit lane as well. Yes, he is. So there's going to be a bit of a mix-up in order here, as Red Bull of Blundy's also coming into the pits. Anderson, though, is the net race lead at the minute on the intermediate tyres, currently P7, in a nice bit of free air there as well, 6 seconds behind and 7 seconds ahead, but there's a yellow flag in Sector 1. Who is that? I think it's the Ferrari of Kingma just ahead of him. Oh my god. If there wasn't ghosting on there for some reason, then he would have absolutely been collected. But Van Loon gets past Legovic, I think that was. Yeah, Legovic, and up into P8, but picks up a 3-second time penalty. Oh dear. If Inters are overheating, tyre temps will be key. That is true, but how much time loss are these guys gonna have? Because you'll soon get the temperatures back under control if it starts raining a bit more. Let's see, are these two struggling or not? Already this is putting Ice Cream under some great pressure here. As out of the turn. Van Loon, there you go, 3-second time penalty coming up as Zerveld gets past Wilson Smith there, up into P9. It definitely looks a bit too wet now for these slick tyres. Are these two going to come in? Ice Cream has decided to bite the bullet and go into the pits. Aurelia stays out though on the medium compound tyres. I think that's the wrong call. I can't lie. From looking at that car through those conditions, Unfi's coming in, Vasilev's coming in, Dijkstra's coming in. I imagine Stefan Kingma after his spin will be doing the same, so it's only going to be Aurelius, and I think that's Legovic is actually AI. He's still driving around. So I imagine he will come in too. No, his AI stays out. So it is going to technically be only Aurelius out on the slick compound tyres on this track at the minute due to Legovic's AI. I'm sorry, no, Kingma stays out. Kingma has stayed out on the soft compound tyres. This is going to be interesting to see. Let's ride on board with Van Loon just behind him. See if Van Loon gains any time here. I imagine he will. Yeah, look at the time gain through the S's section. It becomes less of a challenge to get past and more of a mobile chicane. As more of a danger to the intermediate runners. They carry a little bit too much speed into a corner, and that is it. Your front wing is going to be gone, but Van Loon is underneath the rear wing of the Ferrari. Oh, he's going to get past there at the very, very tricky turn 10 and holds it down the inside of turn 11. Gets the back on the power, and I'm sure you'll get so much more traction out of that it won't be a problem now down the straight. But that is Rolf Van Loon up into P4. What I think is going to be technically net P3 is, never mind, Kingma's coming back at him down the straight on the slick compound tyre, down into the braking zone. Kingma pulls ahead of Rolf Van Loon, and now Rolf's going to have to put up with him in front of him for another few corners here. These two ex-teammates, they were teammates at the start of this season, no longer teammates. Stefan Kingma took a break, went to Ferrari. Rolf's been on holiday, come back, and now they're fighting on track, but on two different compound tyres in wet conditions. Kingma's doing a great job here to hold on as Aurelius now comes into the pits. Kingma could have done Aurelius a massive favour here by when he comes into the pits and comes back out. Is he going to be ahead or behind Rolf Van Loon? I think he might still come out just about ahead. He's going to be close. Onto the intermediate tyres now for the Williams. Where is Ice Cream? Ice Cream's coming down the pit straight as we speak. And Kingma's stayed out. Rolf? What happened to Rolf? Rolf spun. Rolf spun. Nice. Rolf spun at some point in the final two corners. Yeah, the undercut that Anderson got was crazy. 6 seconds now to Ice Cream. But Aurelius comes out in P3 still with the soft runner. The only person on the slick compound tyres. Kingma behind him. But this is a very exciting race that we're getting here, and Rolf spun again. What are you doing? Get on track. Get good. Jesus. Absolutely schooled by a reserve driver. Anyway. Vasilev. Oh my god, what is going on here? Stefan Kingma is impersonating Checo Perez 2021. These two have still DRS is enabled. These two both got DRS on Stefan Kingma. Going to go either side of the Ferrari. Down to turn 12 we go. There goes Wilson Smith up the inside. Oh, sorry, no, that's Unfi. Up the inside of Vasilev. There's so many cars on one part of the track here. But Vasilev stays in the lead of this train. Unfi behind him. Kingma struggling still on the slick compound tyres. There's an Aston Martin there. And a AlphaTauri side by side of Zerveld and Dijkstra, who were fighting it out earlier on in the sprint race. as the Aston Martin goes a little bit wide. Zerveld going wide, holding the inside line though for the triple right-hander, but it is Dijkstra that gets ahead and up into P8 in the end. And King must surely have to come into the pits here. If he doesn't come into the pits here, I don't know what he's been smoking. But I think we all need some. No, he's coming into the pits there now. From the slick tyres. He spun into the pits. He spun into the pits. He was sideways into the pit lane. But gets into the pits eventually. The two Ferraris were the only ones on slick tyres. I lie. I lie. What is this man doing? What is he doing? What? Did he pit already? He's made two. He's gone. Did he go slick, wet, dry again? I don't know what's happening. Aurelius though has got past the ice cream. Sorry, I completely missed that. I have been commentating too much on the back of the field. But Aurelius up into P2 in this race, ahead of the championship leader. I don't know what Blood is doing. Blood is in a world of his own right now. But Ice Cream will not be happy with a P3 finish. I'm sure he would have been hoping for more today. But after a late join, he'll feel like he's on the back foot a little bit there. His duck's coming again. What is he doing? The Ferrari strat. Literally. Oh, he's onto the more slicks. Bruh. He's gone onto softs. Huh? I would have understood if he came back in for dry or for wet. Sorry. You might have thought, you know, oh, I'll give the slicks a go, and then okay, they're not great. Go back onto the wets, but he's gone onto softs. Bruh. Either way, Unfeet still up in P5 at the minute. He's fallen back a little bit from Vasilev and actually going to be open up for a move here for Dijkstra, who pulls past with the DRS. Still enabled as we run up now into turn 1. Dijkstra gets up into P5. Unfeet has to hold on for P6, but he's going to have Zerveld and Wilson Smith behind him charging up to the back of his car as Nilsson's coming into the pits. Nilsson is into the pits. DRS is still enabled. Do people think that the slicks might still work? He's going on to full wets. The DRS is still enabled and he's going on to the full wets. This race is going crazy. Why would he go on to full wets? When have we ever seen an Alpine go on to full wets in a weird rain situation? I don't think we've ever seen that. Oh. Bloody into the wall. There's a safety car. The safety car has been brought out from that. The safety car is now out on track, which I'm sure to Anderson's displease, as he had a 4-second, 5-second gap to the cars behind. He's actually had to slow down there. I think nearly getting a drive-through penalty. A 3-second for Aurelius that I didn't quite catch as well. But the safety car has been called out, which it's going to be very interesting here. Are people going to pit for more inters to try and make it to the end? Are people going to stay out and hope that the rain's going to ease off? Because this is such a weird amount of rain. It looks like it's only just enough for the intermediate tyre, and it looks like, well, the DRS is still enabled, so it could go dry any minute. As soon as it stops raining, Anderson's into the pits. Anderson, your race leader, is into the pit lane. What is Anderson going to go on to here? Is it going to be more intermediate? Is it going to be slick tyres? Let's see. It's more intermediate tyres for the Haas driver. Aurelius, what is he going to go for? He goes for more intermediate tyres. So people think this rain is going to last. And according to our weather forecast, it is going to last all the way till the end of the race. There's light rain, similar conditions now all the way till the end. So people are coming in, but it leaves your championship leader out there in first place, but on the oldest tyres, probably going to be in the field by the end of this lap. Maybe Rolf Van Loon will stay out, but Nilsson onto the full wets, which is a very interesting call. If he had made that call one lap later, he would have at least had some track position with it, but he won't have that anymore. Tyre wear is stupid high. Zerveld's were at 50%, but that's because Zerveld was running in what was technically dry conditions for 2 laps. That was the game's consensus about it, but it could be the fact that the track is pretty dry. It's not soaking wet, but it isn't dry enough for slicks, if that makes sense. And I'm sure the tyres aren't liking it too much. It looks like there could be overheating as well, which might have been why a few people have decided to come in and swap those out. Ice Cream didn't pit. Yeah, no, Ice Cream, he would have had to double stack, but I think it would have only lost him position to Aurelius, which I think he'd already lost actually, hadn't he? So I think he would have still been P3 even if he had the double stack. So an interesting call there from Ice Cream. We've seen him bottle it before. I think it was Saudi Arabia when he stayed out on I can't remember if it's old softs or old mediums or something, with a late race safety car. But yeah, an interesting call there. Also, I just realised it says Aston Martin safety car, but it's Mercedes safety car. So there's everyone's tyres. Both Alpines. I've just realised Vaslev's onto the wets. The Alpines cooking something up here. Once again, I don't know whether there's different rain conditions for the Alpines or like why why are we on why there's people on slicks at the back. Rory Bates, Van Loon, Blundy and Ducker all on slick tyres. I have a feeling Ice Cream does come into the pits. What is going on? Is there different conditions for different drivers here? I feel like there is. I have a feeling this lobby's not synced up. I've seen it before, but Ice Cream, that is the most interesting strategy call I've ever seen in my life. Either way. I have no idea what's going on here. I need to know right now, before we go too far into this race, has everyone got the same weather conditions or not? Because I don't want to get like all the way through this race and then have to do another rerun, because that's effort. Engineer saying dries are fine. I'm wondering whether the engineers, like the game, says it's dry. Like the FIA, like in game, is saying DRS is still enabled. The engineer's saying it's dry, but it's actually wet. Because I have a feeling, yeah, I have a feeling that might be the case. Because we saw when people were on dries, like Kosev, through the corners, the intermediates were so much faster. Either way, it's making an exciting race. Yeah, it is making an exciting race. Exactly. I think the Inters are the ties to be on. I don't know why. To be fair, Nilsson's come back in for the Inters now. And Vaslev's P3 with wet tyres. And then we've literally got, other than hards, we've got every compounded tyre possible on the track right now. Oh dear. Hey. Well, we can use this new telemetry thing to figure out if they're doing legal safety car restarts. There is that. Ducker at the back making 4 pit stops this race. Oh my god, Vaslev's into the pits. Surely to get... Oh, he's got... Huh? Blood had no front wing. Oh no, and Nelson's here as well. They're going on to slick tyres. More slick runners. Oh my god. Has he got a penalty? No. What? Oh, they just didn't have the tyre. 1.6? What on earth is happening in this race? This is a completely just off the rails race that I have no idea how this is going to turn out. I mean, Anderson's doing a great job to play to these conditions and to play to these strategy calls, but his teammates not done too great in that department. But still, if it goes back to dries now, I mean, first of all, an AI will be leading the race. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what could happen here. And Nilsson just definitely got a warning from that, even though he's under safety car. Bruce got Guido, is it? Yeah. You raced the Ferrari? Either way, let's have a look at who's got the fastest sectors. Van Loon. You might not think it, but it's because he's been spinning across the corners and cutting the corners. He's got the fastest first and second sectors. Oh, sorry, first and third sectors. Ice Cream has the fastest of sector 2 so far, which says to me that Ice Cream could be running a little bit less wing, which could cost him in this tricky wet conditions. And he has got to make some moves here. He's got the 2 Ferraris to get past first of all, and the rest behind. Either way, let's go to the live speed of Anderson, who's very close to going under the limit of the minimum speed. Oh, Jeff, you there? Jeff, did you see that? Jeff, are you seeing this? Oh, 38, 30, 29! 29 miles an hour. Oh dear, Haas fans. Oh, now Kingma's got a penalty. Yeah, he's giving people penalties down the grid now as well. Caught in 1080p, more like 720p and 6 FPS. Either way, we are back underway. Apparently the pit window is open for intermediates now. That would be the typical Ferrari thing to do, wouldn't it? But here we go into turn 1. Anderson leading the way over Aurelius. Dijkstra up the inside of Unfi into turn 1. A bit of a snap on exit though. It's going to invite Zervold maybe to try and find a way round the outside at turn 2. Doesn't quite find it. But here we go then through the first SE section. There's a Ferrari there further back of Kingma trying to find a way past the Mercedes of Wilson Smith. Looked up the inside there temporarily. Doesn't quite find the space though. But the front 2 already pulling away from Unfi and Dijkstra. Zerveld in tow as well. Further back, let's see how the slick runners are getting on. As the Legovic AI falls further back. Ducker up into P12. But a second behind Blundy from Van Loon. As Legovic's AI is down to last place. At least he will be out of the way now for the rest of the grid. As Ice Cream gets up into P7 straight away on the intermediate tyres. I think the Inters are still the tyres to be on here. 2 McLarens though, we'll see whether they can catch up to this train or not through the corners. But for right now, the Inters look good. Down the inside there, Wilson Smith on Sebastian Zerveld at turn 15. He's going to have the outside line though in the wet. I don't know how well this is going to work for him. He's keeping that Mercedes on the outside. He's trying to find the space, but down the inside, Adam Ice Cream, your championship leader, looking around the outside now with the penultimate corner, gets the move done on Wilson Smith and tucks in behind Sebastian Zerveld. What a move that was, a very opportunistic move, as Anderson sets the fastest lap of the race on the intermediate tyres. There's a spin there from Rory Bates, I think that was, spinning around further back, but Van Loon gets through untouched, but that proves the slick tyres maybe are a little bit too tricky to be on right now in these conditions. Into turn 1, it is still Anderson leading the way, a 10-second time penalty for Kingma. What did Kingma do? What did Kingma do? I have no idea. He's got a 10-second time penalty. I believe he also has a 5-second time penalty that we can't see due to a contact under the safety car. But it was during the... Oh my god, Kingma. Kingma, what? What is going on here? I need to see how many he's got. He's got 18 seconds. 18 seconds of penalties to Kingma's name right now. The front 2, though, pulling away 3.4 seconds now to Dijkstra behind. These 2 on a different level today. Ice Cream was up there with them as well, but he's had to make that pit stop under the safety car, which has really cost him and put him down in the thick of it. Currently trying to make his way past Zerveld, who's also trying to make his way round the outside of Unfi. He's fought off one Mercedes, trying to make an attack on another now. Back on the power, into sector 3 we go. Zerveld up the inside there, further ahead. Oh, Ice Cream has to back out of the corner a little bit. He's now got Wilson Smith on his inside. as we head into turn 15. Round the outside. Oh my god, this is some close racing here in the wet conditions. The intermediate tyres, though, are working well for those on them. But the Mercedes of Wilson Smith settles back down to P7 as there's a spin there. I think that's Kingma. Kingma's gone round at the triple right-hander. And that is pretty much race over now with 18 seconds of penalties, down into P14. It's not been the greatest of races from Kingma on his return. He's in the wall again there. I'll save him some hope. I'll flick away to Rolf van Loon, who's probably going to spin right on cue. Oh, he nearly thought about it. He thought about it. But he's actually made a move there. Did Unfi have a moment, or has he made a move? Because he's now up into P7 on the slick compound tyre. Right. Okay. I don't know where... I don't know what's going to happen in this race. I think they both have very similar pace. I do still think the Inters are the best tyre to be on, though. Let's see if Rolf can prove me wrong here. As we head down the hill into turn 11. He's closing up a bit during the corner, but it's the traction zones where I think they're going to lose out massively. And he has. It doesn't look like Rolf's going to make the move there down the straight. But Nilsson makes a move there on Unfi. Nilsson was on the slick compound tyres as well. I don't know what tyre is the best tyre to be on here. The slicks seem to be working alright, but then you have moments like that Rolf just had, where it's just going to be a bit too treacherous, and you're going to lose out a bit of time. I imagine the lap times are going to be pretty much equal right now, but I imagine the softs are... Oh, sorry. I was just about to say, I imagine the slick tyres are a little bit more sketchy, and there you go. There's proof of it. Rolf falling down the order into P10 now. As Ice Cream up into P5 at this point, and we'll be looking to make it a top 4. He runs off the road a bit there and loses the back end. He's nearly in the wall. He loses the back end and just about recovers. Taps the rear right tyre on the wall on the outside there. No damage for the Haas driver, but that was a very close call. He was very nearly out of this race, or at least had some kind of damage on the front wing, but he just about saved it. And continues to charge up the field, but he's lost a lot of time there. As Nilsson on the soft compound tyres. Nilsson, remember, went onto the wet compound tyres at some point in this race and went straight back onto the slicks. So he is doing great to be up in P6 on those tyres right now. But let's see what he can do. Can he make it past not only Ice Cream, but make it to the end of this race on slick compound tyres? Will they be faster? He seems to be alright right now. I don't know. I really don't know what's the best tyre to be on here. I don't think anyone knows what tyre is best here. But the front two are making great use of them right now as Aurelius, with the DRS, flies past Anderson, gets into the lead of this race as we head into turn 12. And it's now Williams leading the race. Aurelius is doing great here in Kota, putting up a great fight with Anderson, but he's got that 3-second time penalty that he picked up quite early on once all the chaos was happening, I believe before the safety car as well, which could cost him at the end here, because the DRS still being enabled means that there's still a chance Anderson could just sit behind him right until the end of the race. But let's see how that plays out, as Nilsson actually got past Ice Cream. Nilsson on the softs. Yeah, getting past Ice Cream on the intermediates. I don't know. Let's see what happens here, because I genuinely don't know what people are going to do. Softs keep having glimmers of hope, but then you see moments like what Rolf had, and Rolf's immediately gone straight back onto the intermediates. So I genuinely don't know where to look. I don't know. Unfi into the pits now. Unfi on the intermediates. Is he going to come in for slicks? I believe he has. Yes, he has. He's come in for hards. Now that's going to be a challenge to get those up to temperature and get them working well in these conditions. But he's taking the risk to try and go to the end of this race on the slick compound tyres. Let's see if it pays off for him, as he'll come out in P11 now, just behind Rory Bates, who's on the medium compound tyres, and surely will have to pit once again as Legovic gets up the inside of him there. I believe that is Legovic's AI though, who's still out on the softs. Yeah, I genuinely don't know where to look and who's going to win this race. At the moment, you'd say it's a pretty comfortable win for Aurelius and Anderson. But if it does go to slicks at any point, they have then got to come off those tyres. and probably fall behind Nilsson, and maybe just about come out ahead of Blundy as well. So let's see what happens here, but Aurelius is doing a great job in the lead of this race at the moment. Anderson has not made too much inroads to him, as Nilsson has lost a position once again though to oh my god, where do I look? Nilsson's lost a position there to Ice Cream once again, but he's still sticking with him, 3/10 between those two at the moment. But Dijkstra gets past Nilsson's teammate Vasilev on the hard compound tyres. Is is only in the pits. Okay, is Dijkstra. So a few people looking to go to the end here on the slick tyres. Let's see. A good reference point will be the two McLarens, who separated now by 4 seconds, but one of them on the inters, one of them on the mediums, as Anderson's actually lost 1.7 seconds now to Aurelius at some point throughout that last sector. So Aurelius is really enjoying these conditions right now, and really enjoying this track. He's been quick here all weekend so far, as Kingman leaves the session. A 5-second penalty for Vasilev for speeding in the pit lane. So Vasilev coming into the pits. Roy Bates into the pits now as well. Maybe he's seen that his teammate was catching him a bit too fast and wants to go onto those wet tyres. Is he going to block Vasilev? I know Vasilev serving his penalty, so he might still come out ahead of Vasilev. He has come out ahead of Vasilev, who's had to serve that 5 seconds. Or I believe he might have already had a 5 second. Yeah, because he must have already had a 5-second penalty to his name before coming into the pit lane. But yeah, everyone's seeming to want to go back on the intermediates now, as Unfi and Dijkstra are both on the hards going to the end. What is going on? I just don't know what's going on anymore. Is Dijkstra... Nilsson has lost 3 seconds, 4 seconds now to Ice Cream. Has it switched back over to wet conditions now? So we've seen a lot of people go back onto the intermediates, and 4 seconds lost for Nilsson after overtaking Ice Cream on the intermediates. Just a few laps to go. It's very bizarre to see as Duckett picks up a 3-second time penalty now. I've talked so much in the last 30 minutes. I need to take a drink. But here's Rory Bates trying to fend off Vasilev, who he just got past in the pit lane, but Vasilev seems to have a much better exit and a much better top line speed down the straight. Pulls ahead, gets up into P11, and we'll now charge after Blundy, who's currently last point paying position in P10. As there goes Nilsson into the pits now, so he does know it's time to get onto the intermediates. It looks like we're going to have a full intermediate grid at some point here, because those hard tyres cannot be working well. Yep, Dijkstra into the pits now as well. Just behind him, I'm sure Unfi's going to be in. If he doesn't come in, he's playing a very dangerous game for Mercedes. No, he's coming to the pits, as you'd expect. So it is a full intermediate grid now we are going to have for the first time in this wet race, I believe. Yeah, it has been an absolutely crazy race. We have quite a big field spread now, though, unfortunately. The front two currently making their way down the pit straight, whereas P6 is currently going through Sector 1S's, which is a just crazy field spread. We have a good race for the lead, though, as Anderson's closing back up to 1.4 seconds now, the gap between those two. And Zerveld is doing a great job to hang on for P3 right now over Wilson Smith and Ice Cream. But look at the gap from Ice Cream to Van Loon, 20 seconds separating the McLaren and the Haas for P5. As Duckett picks up a 3-second time penalty again. I don't know how many penalties he's got. He's got apparently 9 seconds of penalties. So, yikes. He's actually spun. Oh, nards. There's Anderson's tyres, though, and they are not looking too great at the minute. As I'm missing out. As Adam Ice Cream comes into the pits. Ice Cream into the pits now on 50% one inters. Is he going to go onto a fresh set and get the jump on those ahead of him? He is going to go onto a fresh set of inters. So he's biting the bullet now to try and maybe make an undercut on the likes of Wilson Smith. Van Loon should come out behind him, so it is a good little pocket of air he'll come out into. As Aurelius' tyres are nearing 60% now, so these two have to start thinking about a pit stop here. I imagine Oh, Zervod's not got telemetry on. Note that down, Jeff. But the likes of these guys need to start thinking about a pit stop. Van Loon, who pitted not too long ago, same as Nilsson, might be able to stretch these tyres to the end now. But the front two definitely need to come in again. And I'm sure they would prefer to just stay out here, but they should come out in relatively clean air once the guys behind pit. There's a 3-second time penalty there for Rory Bates, down in P11. I love Rain GP. Oh mate, you missed out. Did you watch the start of Hyperia or not? Ah, you just got home. Okay, well, oh, another pit stop here for the Haas team, and at this time it is Anderson to come in. Actually, Aurelius is in as well. Sorry, I completely missed the fact that he came in as well. So it's going to be a battle of the pit stops here. Who can get their turning right? Who can get on the power out of the box quick enough? It looks like they've both come out in relatively same speeds. So it is going to be Anderson, still in P2, Zerveld and Wilson Smith also into the box. So Ice Cream's jump might not work as well as he might have thought because he's only coming down the pitch straight now. Is he going to be on the back of these two? He is going to be on the back of these two. He's going to be up into P3. What an undercut that was from the Haas driver. He's got two cars there on strategy alone and puts himself back onto the podium. That was a great strategy call from Ice Cream as he didn't make a great one earlier. Going on to these, sorry, the previous intermediate tyres. But he's done well there as Nilsson has completely closed that gap between him and Rolf van Loon and is now all over the back of the McLaren. Through sector 1 we go. Rolf seems to be really struggling on those intermediates so far. You've got to think that Nilsson's tyres are much younger as well. Sorry, I'm commentating on some of the racing that's going on. It started off like this, similar conditions, a little bit of rain, damp track. Everyone was on slick tyres as here comes Nilsson getting a brilliant drive out of turn 11 and down the straight. There's a bit of contact between the two. I thought they were both going to spin out into that barrier then, but they don't. The 3 wide now going into turn 12. The Mercedes on the inside. That is Wilson Smith on the inside of Nilsson. Round the outside goes Rolf van Loon. I think Rolf's lost 2 positions there in one straight. And Wilson Smith gets up into P6 and Nilsson holds on for P5 right now as they're going to go side by side through sector 3 we go. As Anderson picks up a 3-second time penalty, so that now becomes a race for the lead. They have to both fight for track position in this race as Nilsson is holding on beautifully here for P5, but Wilson Smith won't let it go. Either way, Nilsson stays P5 right now. But yes, Hyperia, the race started like wet conditions. Everyone was on slicks. And since then, it had been back and forth with half the grid on slicks, half the grid on inters. No one knew what was faster. DRS was still enabled until a few laps ago, I believe. And yeah, now everyone is running on intermediates, and it seems like we've actually got a full wet track, unlike how we did a few laps ago as Wilson Smith had a glance up the inside there of Nilsson. As Rolf gets a big snap of oversteer on the exit of turn 1, but keeps that car pointing in the right direction. Actually, I'll tell you, we had a race. Yeah, I've actually enjoyed commentating this one. It's been a good one to watch. I've got some good news as well. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's happening. I don't know if you'd want me to tell you, but I believe we're going to have Luke Martin back for Japan. He can't miss it, can he? He just can't. It's his favourite track. He's a big hentai fan, and he won't miss it for the life of him. So we have that to look forward to. And here comes Wilson Smith now. Down into turn 12 we go. Why have I clicked off it? There we go. Nilsson holds on just about into that late braking zone of turn 12 and fends off the Mercedes for another lap. Rolf van Loon is really struggling out there. He's lost nearly 2 seconds to these guys now. And he's lost another 2 seconds to Dijkstra further behind. Dijkstra, who was only a few laps ago on the hard compound tyres, is fighting out for what could be maybe even P5 if he can keep pace with the Nilsson and Wilson Smith, or if they get tangled up in a little bit of a battle, it could be very close between those two. As Anderson still not making too many inroads on Aureus ahead, still 1.6 seconds between those two, but they are both still pulling away from Adam Ice Cream in P3 as it stands. Zerveld has completely escaped these two, by the way. He's now 9 seconds up the road. I don't know how that's happened. Nilsson, there's so many weird margins in this race that just keep either getting absolutely huge or tiny, and it's hard to keep track of what's going on here. But yeah, all I know is Nilsson has lost the position to Wilson Smith, and I completely missed it. No more AFJ commentary snooze fest. Well, I believe AFJ will be commentating on Friday and Sunday. I don't think he's that bad of a commentator, guys. Come on now. I know we take the mick out of him, but I think he does a pretty good job. And it's not easy, alright, being a commentator. I'm not very good at it. But to sit here and talk about fake cars, and especially when you're on your own, it's very difficult to keep talking about stuff. But we try our best. Dijkstra, though, all over the back now of Rolf van Loon's McLaren as we come into Sector 3, and I imagine this is where Rolf's been losing most of the time, because that back end of the McLaren has not looked stable for him the entire race. And he's not losing too much time to Dijkstra here. Dijkstra might have to hope for a big mistake from Rolf, because you see the back end is just all over the place. He's stepping out all over and losing time. But 11 seconds now between the front two. Oh, sorry, the two Haas teammates is what I meant to say. And yeah, that is a big deficit from the championship leader to his closest rival. And Rory Bates gets past Vasilev there. We just about missed it. I think that was Blundy actually having a spin. Never mind. That was Blundy definitely having a spin as Dijkstra gets up the inside of Rolf van Loon, forces him to the edge of the track, but it gets a big snap on the exit. Can he keep that position? He can, just about. I think he squeezed Rolf there right to the inside curb until he had to back out as we head into the S's section. It is Dijkstra up into P7 in this race, and Van Loon down into P8. But it is a crazy race that we are having. The front two still separated by over a second. Wow, you're welcome. What was I going to say then? I was going to ask some. Oh god, I can't think what I was going to say now. You've made me blush. Yeah, I don't know. I forgot. Hopefully it'll come back to me. Oh, I know what I was going to say. Anyone in chat that has the time and can put the effort in, will you work out? I believe it is true, but just to be absolutely sure, if Ice Cream finishes, let's say P4, will he still win the championship? I'm like 99% sure he will, but I don't want to say it and then be like, oh, he's not won. Oh my god, here comes Sebastian Zerveld into turn 1, up the inside of the championship leader. And he's taking that podium position away from Ice Cream. And the final soldier of this race, Sebastian Zerveld, gets up into the podium positions, a deserved podium this race. He has driven absolutely beautifully. And wow, that's going to be a well-deserved podium for him. As Van Loon's into the pits on lap 24. I imagine for more intermediates, maybe he just wants to see what pace he has and see if he can get past the Alpine driver that's just got past him. As long as Van Loon doesn't get like 5th or something. But Anderson and Van Loon are on the same amount of points. And what I calculated before the race was that they both have to outscore Ice Cream by 23 points to have a shot in the championship. There you go. That is the Drivers' Championship as we head into this round. I don't know if that helps. I imagine... As long as Ice Cream gets more than 3 points, I think he has it. Okay. I think that is true, because I think he's on 74 points ahead. But with Anderson winning, or in fact, with Anderson in P2, he's scoring 3 more points, right? There's 74 points between them now. Where did they finish in the sprint? Oh, I don't know. I have a feeling he is going to be champion as long as he gets points this race. There's not too much happening on track right now. I'll say that much. If Anderson wins with the fastest lap, then he has a 48-point gap without Ice Cream getting a point this race, and there's 52 points remaining. So he has to win and get fastest lap, and Ice Cream score no points to be in a chance with winning the championship, or being mathematically in it, is what you're saying. Basically, as long as Ice Cream scores points, he's going to be fine. Is what I'm hearing. I think. I don't really know. Too much maths, man. Was that actually a purple sector 1? It actually was a purple sector 1. So, the track, even though we've had people on slick tyres, Van Loon on fresh inters on low fuel has actually just set the fastest sector 1 and there's no DRS now, is there? Or is there? No, there isn't. Yeah, but here comes Rolf Van Loon. No, never mind. No, he doesn't. Out of turn 12. On the power once again. Tries to find his way round the outside of Vasilev into the third sector. Can't quite find the space and the traction that he needs to get that move done, but he will sit behind once again underneath the rear wing of the Alpine. He's got a 6-second penalty though. He's going to have to clear Vasilev by 3 seconds in what's going to be 3 laps if he can make this move soon. He's tucked underneath. He can't quite find the space there as he came through the penultimate corner, and you might have a shot here into turn 1. Oh, never mind. He's going to get the switch back out the final corner, the better traction, and down the straight he comes. Side by side for the Alpine and the McLaren. Into turn 1 we go. Rolf Van Loon up the inside, gets past Vasilev and up into P9. Oh my. Either way, we're going to move on. As Ice Cream's actually keeping Zerveld honest there. 6/10 now between Zerveld and himself. Let's see, can Ice Cream still steal away at this podium? I mean, Zerveld could, for all we know, be on 2 warnings and 1 warning away from a 3-second time penalty. We don't know. These conditions have been tricky all race. This rain has been persistent all race. Ice Cream has been persistent all season, and it's going to be charging after his championship today. But he doesn't have to take any risks. If he wants Zerveld to, if he wants to guarantee the championship today, I would be letting off, chilling back, but he wants that podium. You can see in the way he's driving, the way he's pushing up to the back of the Aston Martin now, he wants to get that podium to round off his championship charge here in Season 8. On the power once again, down the pit straight we come. There's a yellow flag currently down the straight. I have no idea as to why. But either way, Ice Cream brakes, doesn't quite find the space up the inside. He's going to have to settle back at least through Sector 1 here. And Ice Cream should be okay. I think he's going to win the championship here. I think he will, if he stays P4. I don't see how he wouldn't. So, yeah, we'll say yeah. Let's go with that. Red Bull managers to somehow worsen already bad drivers. Here comes Ice Cream though, up the inside for the final podium position. Ice Cream and Zervold battling out on the penultimate lap of the race here. Ice Cream will look to get a better drive out of turn 11 all the way down the straight now to the heavy braking zone of turn 12, where we've seen most moves be made in this race so far. Zervold retakes that third position, but is it going to be only temporary as Ice Cream's up the inside of the Aston Martin, back on the power now, gets ahead of Zervold once again in this race. Ice Cream on the third step of the podium, and Zervold will fight back to try and get it back. And the final lap of this race is a spun McLaren of Rolf van Loon. What do you expect from him? Absolutely nothing. And here we go then for the triple right-hander for the 27th time in this race. Ice Cream is ahead of Zervold. God's sake. But it is Ice Cream ahead of Zervold at the minute and on the final step of the podium. And I'm sure that'll be a great way for him to round out his championship here in Season 8. The final lap of the race now begins. Aurelius is still leading Anderson, and Ice Cream still leads Zervold for the final step on the podium. The two McLarens rounding out pretty much the final points paying position as Unfi stays in P10 and is quite a few seconds behind with a 3-second time penalty there as well. Legovic's AI is going to finish ahead of Vaslev and Blundy by the looks of things in this race. And yeah, I mean, Haas have had a great season altogether. I don't know whether this wins them constructors as well. Be interesting to see. But Anderson has had no response today to Aurelius's pace. So once Aurelius got past, he pretty much maintained that gap from over a second. So he's done absolutely great here today, really shown what driver he is. And Ice Cream, once again, all season has been showing what kind of driver he is. And it's going to take what seems to be 2 championships in a row for Haas. And he's going to lead down into turn 12, where Zervold will look to make a move once again down into the heavy braking zone. Can't quite find the space that he needs, but Ice Cream leads to the back end and Zervold's been collected. And he's going to let him through, I think. Ice Cream's slowing down on track. He's let Zervold through. I think he knew that was his fault. And he's going to let him back through into the final podium position. But here comes Aurelius now through the final corner for the Williams team. And up to the line, it's Aurelius that wins out in Texas. He wins the United States Grand Prix. Anderson picks up P2 for Haas and their home race. Zervold, though, looks to take the final podium position. It was a very nice gesture for Ice Cream to give that position back after a mistake that he made. And Ice Cream will finish P4. But here comes Zervold round the final corner, takes home a podium in the United States Grand Prix. But here's the real man of the hour. Ice Cream wins the Tier 3 championship here in the United States. Ice Cream is your Season 8 Tier 3 champion here at Amethyst Racing. What a race, what a season from Ice Cream. P5 goes to Wilson Smith. Nilsson brings it home in P6. Dykstra, after being on the hards for a certain amount of time, drifts it across the line to take home P7 in this race. Rory Bates stepped in as a reserve half an hour before this race came along, and he's going to bring it home in P8. And here comes Rolf van Loon. He's had a fair amount of spins today. Is he also going to spin across the line? It'll be very interesting to see. Finishing it in pure Rolf van Loon style. Here he comes. He doesn't spin it. He keeps it in a straight line for the first time this race. Congrats to you, my friend. Unfi, though, here he comes through the final corner. He'll take the final points painting position here in Kota. An unfortunate race for Vaslev and Legovic, who didn't even get to race due to some issues he was having with his computer. But Ducker and also Kingma also having a very stressful and I'm sure unpleasant race with a DNF to their names. And wow, what a crazy race, and well executed by the Haas team there, and also providing this man Aurelius, who takes it home on the top step for the first time here at Amethyst. Aurelius stands on that number 1 position, collects the silverware, and is going to be an Amethyst Racing Tier 3 race winner. What a result for the Williams team. Anderson keeping it up there, ever consistent in the front 2 positions for him. But Aurelius is your most points scored driver this weekend, with 31 to his name. Anderson 27 and Ice Cream a strong 19. That is enough, I believe, to win him the Drivers' Championship. But there's your classification for this race. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Oh God, I hate this. we go. Okay. Just getting the screenshots, and then I will get on with the interviews shortly after this. But there you go, that is your classification here for the United States Grand Prix in Amethyst Racing Tier 3. Aurelius takes the victory with 3 stops. He got a 5-stop strategy there from Nilsson, who finishes P6 in the end. A crazy, crazy race overall. And one that I'm sure Ice Cream won't forget, and neither will Aurelius after such a great drive. But thank you guys for watching the main Grand Prix. I'm now going to head over to the interview box, and we will get some interviews, especially from, hopefully, our Tier 3 World Champion, Mr. Ice Cream. So give me 1 second, and I will be back for those. Okay, welcome back, and we are here for the driver interviews. Sorry, there's no game thing at the bottom of the car. I think my computer might genuinely blow up if I did any more, if the game was on for any longer. Let's get up the Haas team first, due to Ice Cream being crowned the Tier 3 champion after that race. Congratulations. Yeah. Another, I mean, very consistent result for you guys, as it has been all season. I want to say you've clinched the constructors as well, but I don't know. We have. You have. Okay.
It's before this race we were 94 points ahead.
Okay, so yeah, you should have it in the bag now. But I mean, what a crazy race! Like from a spectating point of view, it was very confusing and very entertaining at the same time. You know, obviously the mixture of softs and intermediates and everything up and down the field. I don't think anyone really knew what to do and what was the best tire to be on until that final half of the race. But before we touch on the race though, let's just go back through the season you've had, because both you and Anderson have had pretty crazy seasons from the start. I mean, Anderson joined only like 4 rounds ago or something, 4 or 5 rounds ago.
Something like that. Missed the first 3 races.
Missed the first 3 races. So yeah, and to come back and clinch the championship in such a way really shows the team spirit you have there at Haas. And Byron, do you want to give a word on not only claiming the drivers' title today, but also the constructors?
I mean, having these two amazing drivers, just that puts in the results every week, and it's great.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was the hat trick of wins this race, or it would have been. Sorry if Aurelius didn't win.
Yeah.
But still, 2 in a row. I mean, did you win? Let me have a quick look. Did you win in Silverstone?
Hungary, Italy.
No, that was Usting.
P3.
P2.
P3 and P4.
P3. Ah, okay. So yeah, you were
Yeah,
looking for the
that.
hat trick today, but Aurelius just had such great pace out there today. Unfortunately, it couldn't be, but 2 in a row and claiming the drivers and the constructors in the same race is a pretty impressive feat on its own. So one that you should be very happy with, and I'm sure you are. But we'll go touch on this race now because let's see what I can even muster up. I mean, some people did 6 stop races, 5 stop races. You and Anderson both did 3 stop races, which is quite a few more than what I'm sure you would have made in the dry. But either way, it still worked out pretty well for you both. I mean, first of all, we'll touch on. I mean, I think that the one thing that really cost you the podium comfortably, Ice Cream, would have been the safety car pitting on the second lap of the safety car, or whether it was.
Yeah, I didn't want to double stack.
But I think the double stack would have been fine. I think you still would have come out
It would.
P3 or something like that.
Yeah, it would. Definitely.
Which was unfortunate to see, but yeah, I mean, you fought your way back up pretty nicely, and you gave us a bit of racing to watch anyway. So that was nice, and yeah, I mean, both of you had great pace up there, but I think Aurelius just really showed his speed today, and Anderson, you had a very close race. I mean, it might not have felt like it, but I don't think the gap went over 2 seconds at any point through that second stint in the race. So it was close there. But do you? I mean, I don't even know where to go with this because, like I say, it was such a hectic race. But yeah, I mean, Ice Cream, congratulations to Haas as a general. Congratulations. I think that's, obviously Anderson winning the drivers last time out in season 7, and then Ice Cream to come back and win it in season 8. It's an impressive feat, and sure one that you'll be proud of for seasons to come. So congrats to you guys, and thank you for coming up here. Thank you for giving us some entertainment this season.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, guys. Congrats.
Yeah, see you.
See you later. All right. Well, we'll bring up the man of the hour, Mr. Aurelius, taking victory.
Hello.
In the United States. Welcome up. First of all,
you said last week that I'll probably see you next week, and I thought to myself, I kind of need to do it now. I need to get a podium.
Well, there you go then. You're up here and on the top step nonetheless.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, what a weekend from you. I mean, P2 in qualifying, to then you fell down to P3 in the sprint, but then you really showed the drive you had in you this weekend. I always say this weekend, even though it's a Wednesday. But you really showed the drive you had in you to get that win, because you made the move quite, I'd say, late on in the race. I believe it was after the safety car. And,
yes, on Anderson.
Yeah, but then from that point onwards, I mean, Anderson, we know how fast Anderson can be on his day, and didn't really have a response from there. Didn't really. I mean, he definitely kept you honest. He had it never really went under over 2 seconds to get, but it was hovering around 1.1 to 1.9 at times. And,
yeah. The way the game is so brilliant is when I thought it was getting heavier, so I thought to myself, right, if I overtake, DRS will probably be activated.
Yeah.
So I went for it. Did DRS get activated?
Yeah, it did at some point.
So all I was thinking is, I don't have to keep a second gap, but I want to in case I drift, which I did plenty of times. If you saw, I was Tokyo drifting half the time.
Well, you both picked up a 3-second time penalty, which I'm sure when Anderson
Oh, I
did,
was
it was a massive
no,
relief for you.
no offense, Anderson. I was cheering.
Yeah, you definitely had what's it? You
I was
definitely
happy with P2, and then he sort of got the penalty, and I thought, fuck, I just got to go for it now.
had decided to go for the win there. But yeah, I mean, just great pace from you today. I believe it was a 3-stop race from you.
Yeah.
I think you basically copied the Hasses. I think you started on the softs.
I went
to-
I went mediums, and then
Oh
I
yeah,
saw
mediums.
Anderson pit, and I thought, oh, stuff it, it's too late now. No, Anderson pitted first, then Ice Cream pitted, and I thought, stuff it, I'm too late now. And I pitted, and then I got behind Ice Cream, and I just sort of kept pressure on him during sector 2
Yeah.
after the back straight, and I kept getting. I tried to get him to go as wide as possible so I could just cut cut in the inside, which I ended up doing.
Yeah.
And then Anderson, I knew he would absolutely fight to the end. So I had to overtake him on the straight, otherwise I'm not going to be able to otherwise I'm just risking it for no reason.
Yeah, well, I mean, you held on beautifully in the end and had, I'd say, pretty similar pace nearly every lap with Anderson in that last stint. Maybe a few mistakes here and there from either of you moved that gap about, but in the end you came home and took the win, and I believe it's your first win in Amethyst racing.
It's the first win in the league.
First win in the league.
Remember this is my first league.
Well, there you go
This is
then.
my first ever league, yeah.
So yeah, because I remember you were at Ferrari this season, weren't you, at the start?
Well, I started at Ferrari, got P4 at Bahrain. Messed up Spain. I DNF Spain.
Yeah.
Then what was the race afterwards? Belgium. I picked up a P3 at Red Bull because I was loaned out to Red Bull. Then P12 in Silverstone because I racked up like 12 seconds of penalties. Then yeah, I got DNF in Monza. P6 after a disastrous race in Hungary, and then I finally got that P1. So I was happy about that.
Well, you had a great race today, and one you can definitely take into the final 2 rounds and even into season 9.
Well, it put me now P4 in the standings,
Yes,
so
it will. Yeah.
it made me quite happy. I was just expecting to hold P5, so getting up to P4, close to the top 3, makes it a bit more interesting.
Well, thank you for coming up here, mate, and
Thank you.
congrats today. Congrats on your first win, and hopefully once again I'll see you next week. So you better turn.
Oh, you put that pressure on me again. Shit. Right, have a good one.
Alright, mate. See you later. Okay, I'll do one more because honestly, it's like 40 degrees in my room right now. Oh, great. Rolf, I love you, mate, but Zervad got a podium, so I think it's only fair. He's gone.
Ciao.
He's just completely disappeared. Alright, well, welcome up, boys. Zervad, first of all, congratulations. I said it in the commentary, a very well deserved podium from you, and yeah, I mean, you drove pretty well all race, to be fair, like in the conditions that were questionable for most of the time. You showed that you had the pace there to be fighting for that podium. P8 in qualifying, quite a big gap, but I think this track is one of those that it's really hard to get a lap hooked up and to be consistent throughout a lap. But P8 is not a bad result at all, and you scored very good points as well in the sprint up to P6. And I started P6, got up to P3 in the end of the race after a small altercation with the championship. Sorry, the man with the championship now. But he very kindly let you back through to get the podium. I mean, I think, it's one of those, you might feel like, oh, you gave it to me. I didn't really deserve the podium. But at the end of the day, it's racing within the limits, and he overstood the limit, and you had to give it back. Like, it's one of the things you would have got anyway. Probably would have got a penalty for it or something of the above. Yeah. But no, a great race from you. Anything you want to touch on? I mean, a 3-stop race from P6 on the grid to P3 is pretty hectic, I imagine.
Oh,
lap 1, I fell all the way back. I think I was B12 when I went into the pits because I pitted on lap 1.
Yeah.
I went to intermediates, and I think from that moment on, just good teamwork and just good racing overall. People didn't push me or something. Like
Yeah.
it was good.
Yeah, to be fair, even when the conditions were like, you know, people on slicks in the wet and wets when it might have been too dry for them or what have
Yeah.
you, the racing out there was really good to watch, and it seemed pretty fair as well. So yeah, it's, I mean, it's a very, very impressive race from pretty much everyone that finished it. Just to keep, I mean, there's so many spins, so many front wings going everywhere, and people hitting the walls and stuff. But in the end, only 2 DNFs, and I mean, people that had the pace to be on the podium definitely showed their speed today, and you are one of them. So congrats on that.
Thank you.
McWilliams, anything you want to touch on with Zerval's performance today?
I think this has genuinely just been one of the most confusing races I've ever seen. To start off with, everyone was forced on the slicks at the start, and it didn't help that despite it looking like it was borderline wet conditions, I'm not surprised the Alpines did come in eventually. But the engineer kept saying slicks are faster, and for certain stints it did look like they were.
Yeah.
But we just kind of played it safe and we're like, no, just keep committing on the inters, commit the inters.
See, I think that the strategy would have been best to do, obviously start on the slicks, as I guess it didn't let you choose wet tyres.
No.
So start on them, go lap 1 like you did, pit onto the inters, and then just inter stop one more time. Like, I think it's the exact same thing you did, right? Under the safety car and then a little bit later on.
Yeah, because the tires were dead. Because it was like half conditions.
Yeah.
They were shredding away. So.
But I mean, like, you pit on lap 1 and then pit again in the safety car and then again after the
Yeah.
safety car, right?
Safety car was a great. Yeah.
Which I think is the best option, because I mean, even though I think the slicks were faster at certain times, I don't think it was enough of an advantage to actually make.
Yeah,
the
and
pit
maybe it
stop.
was too slippery
Yeah.
at some point.
Now, before you go, I've got to ask you one question.
Yeah.
Luke Martin is racing in Japan. Do
Yeah.
you fancy? Do you fancy making it a little bit more entertaining for us?
Well, I'll see if I can do something, but it's not. I don't want to hit him, but it's just the magnetic connection between us two.
Meant to be.
Is it magnetic though, or is it
Yeah.
romantic?
Romantic also.
Oh, okay. Well,
That's just a little bit.
I'll definitely be looking forward to it.
Connor, I want to say one thing as well.
Uh-huh.
iRacing Season 4 is up, you better get on that.
Is the rain coming?
Yeah.
The rain is here.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah, I'll get on it. Real quick, Khan is in the chat. He says, "Why is Mick Williams here? Blood thinks he's on the team."
Oh, God, I don't know. Maybe.
Anyway, we'll move him away. All right. Well, congrats to Zervald. Really, really well driven and a great P3 result for you and the
Thank
team.
you.
And I'll hope to see you again next week. And I'll really hope to see you again in Japan.
I hope it too.
Cheers, pal. Thank you.
Cheers. Bye.
Okay, well, that wraps up today's Tier 3 stream. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you, everyone, keeping me company. And I hope that my commentary was half decent, because it is just unbelievably warm. Either way, have a great night, and we'll probably see you again on Friday, 7 p.m. BST, for Tier 1 Brazil, which should be very interesting. It always is hectic there. But until then, see you guys later on.